the Browns have said goodbye to kicker Cade York after an up-and-down rookie season, and then another up-and-down off-season where we would see practice reports of him being really solid with his attempts, and then we'd see the live game reps in preseason action where it was shaky at best. So the Browns have decided to move on. So that would leave them without a kicker, so they decided to strike up a deal for one. The Browns have traded a 2025 7th-round pick to the Chargers in exchange for kicker Dustin Hopkins. Now, the Chargers had a kicking battle between him and Cameron Dicker, the kicker, this training camp, and Cameron Dicker won, meaning that Dustin Hopkins was available, so the Browns took him off of their hands for a 7th-round pick in not the next draft, but the draft after. He's a 32-year-old veteran kicker. He'll be 33 by season's end. He only played in 5 games last season due to injury, so that might be a concern, but if he's 100% recovered from that one, then I guess it's a clean slate as far as injury concerns go. He was pretty good in the games he played in. However, he made 9 out of 10 of his field goals and all 12 extra point attempts. His worst season of 79.4% of a success rate on his field goals would actually be an improvement over Cade York last season, who converted on 75% of his field goal attempts. So even if we get, even if the Browns are watching bad Dustin Hopkins, then it will be an improvement over what we saw out of Cade York. Dustin Hopkins' career average is around 85%, 84.8% if we want to be a little pessimistic and exact there. Doesn't have the same amount of just insane leg power as Cade York, but he's made plenty of 50-plus yard attempts before. We'll just be missing out on those Twitter videos of, Cade York made a 70-yard kick in warm-ups before the game or sometime in practice, which I will gladly take in exchange for actually being able to calm myself during like a 42-yard attempt or something. However, with the Browns kicking history post Phil Dawson, I'll have to see him make a couple kicks in a Browns uniform before being able to calm down a little bit on that one. Look, it didn't work out with Cade York the way anyone would have wanted it to. I didn't want Cade York to have the kind of rookie season and off-season, preseason stuff that he had this year. But we'll always have that one kick in week 1 against the Panthers last year, so I guess I'll choose to remember the good out of Cade York. Moving on to some actually positive injury news for the Browns. Marquise Goodwin is back. He has been cleared for action. He's been removed from the non-football injury list. He's been dealing with blood clots during this training camp, and this definitely seems like there's been a very significant forward step on that front. I'm not sure, I don't know if he's exactly 100%, but this definitely seems like they are ready to have him on the main roster. The Browns also making roster cuts. Obviously, they have until 4 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday to get it down to 53. A surprising one was offensive guard Michael Dunn, as the team sent out a birthday tweet for him earlier today. So the Browns basically saying, happy birthday, now get out. I'm honestly guessing that he gets picked up on waivers, as he's been a really solid backup guard for the Browns the past few seasons. He can start in a pinch. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal if he's starting for a game or 2 in a row. I think he can definitely hold his own weight on an offensive line. My guess is that maybe they're trying to move someone to be a depth guard in his place. Maybe one of the backup centers in Luke Whippler or Nick Harris. Don't really need to be carrying 3 centers on the final roster. But you could have just kept Michael Dunn as well. But maybe there's some corresponding move that we're not anticipating, or because there hasn't been much reporting on the Browns looking for a replacement for what Michael Dunn does. The offensive line coach Bill Callahan, he has done a lot of coaching guys in different positions. So if Luke Whippler or Nick Harris is moving around, it would certainly be something that Bill Callahan has done before. Not unprecedented by that, but I'm still a bit confused by the move, and I do think another team is going to definitely get a pretty solid depth guard on their hand, or maybe if a team is desperate enough, he could definitely start in a pinch. Jakeem Grant was put on IR today, unfortunately, as well. Anthony Schwartz was waived with an injury designation, so that I've seen a lot of things like, Anthony Schwartz has been cut from the Browns, so it's finally over. Not necessarily. So if he clears waivers, Anthony Schwartz will also be put on the team's IR, so it's not exactly quite a done deal yet. However, the fact that they're doing this at this point in the offseason and training camp and not trying to make a better effort to just throw him on the 53-man roster and then putting him on IR, I do think that kind of indicates that the Browns are getting ready to move on from him if they need to. So I'm not going to be naming every roster cut, because I'm not going to try to bore you with a list of names you've never heard. You can look it up in official list on the Browns official website. There are also like the SB Nation, dogsbynature.com, Browns websites like that, Cleveland.com. They're keeping up with it too, as far far as tracking who's getting cut. So if you want a more complete and exact list, there's definitely resources out there that you can find on your own time. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you indeed made it this far, leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. You can let me know what you thought about the Browns' moves recently down in the comments below, and I will see you at the next one.